Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto Went Back to the Past, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Said Kakashi as he looked at the seal on the photo album. So do you think you will be able to open it? Asked Ino. I could, but I am not sure. I want to see what is inside, said Kakashi. Oh come on Kakashi, open it, said Anko as she appeared. Anko, how do you know about this? Asked Kakashi. Let's just that Lee ran off to tell Guy and those two have really big mouths, said Anko as Asuma, Guy, Lee and Kurenai appeared next to Anko. Alright, said Kakashi as he started to run through some hand signs. Release, yelled Kakashi as the book glowed for a second before dimming. Slowly Kakashi reached for the book and opened it, and the first thing he saw were the words friends. Friends? Asked Tenten. Sakura always kept a few pages for her friends, I guess she just has a whole book full of them, said Ino as Kakashi flipped the pages most where common picture of the genin where all hang out like friends do. The first sign of a real change was a picture of Asuma was hugging Kurenai, however they weren't alone. Kurenai was holding a very small black-haired baby in her arms. Wow, Kurenai-sensei, you had, or is it will have a child, said Hinata as she looked at how happy the picture was. Well, no surprise there, said Kakashi as the two Junin blushed at the photo. The next few pictures focused on Naruto and Sakura in the beginning of their relationship, hanging out, holding hands and kissing. What are you guys up to? Asked Shikamaru as he jumped into the scene. Nothing, said Ino as she tried to hide the books, but suddenly Temari appeared and grabbed the books. Nothing, looks like someone got their hands on Naruto's and Sakura's family album, said Temari. Troublesome, I thought we had gone through this. We don't want people to get together just because they did it in our past, said Shikamaru as he rubbed his temples before Temari handed him the open album. We don't care, we want to know, we have the right to know about ourselves, said Ino. Shikamaru, we have known each other for years, ours and Chuji's fathers are best friends. You are like a brother to me. Have I ever let something define me? You're right, but understand I can't. I won't tell you guys everything, but I can tell you something, said Shikamaru as Temari nodded her head. I wanted to tell him to begin with, said Temari. To use your favorite word, it is too troublesome to keep all of it hidden. Okay, this is what I am going to do. I am going to show you each some picture from our time, said Shikamaru as he flipped through the pages. Okay, here is the first one. Shikamaru turned around the album to show a photo. There was a picture of who had to be an older Kiba sitting on a park bench with Naruto just talking. Wow Kiba, you look pretty good for a dog, said Ino as Kiba looked at himself. He was dressed in all black with sliver fur lining. I look like my dad, in the photos I have of him, said Kiba. Then Shikamaru flipped the page and brought in the first bombshell. There was Kiba again, but this time his shirt was off, replaced with only fish netting, and he wasn't alone. He was leaning up against a blonde-haired woman who had her head resting on top of his head. Both of them had their eyes closed, and the woman had one hand resting on his chest and his hand was up on her elbow. Is that who I think it is? Asked Chuji, gasped at what he saw. Is that me? Asked a stunned Ino. Yes, that is you and your husband just weeks before the sound invasion that killed you both, said Shikamaru as the two 12-year-old looked at each other. I am just as surprised as you, said Kiba. I bet dog boy, said Ino, he does look kind of cute in that wild animal style, and if he gets all those muscles then he will be very juicy, she thought with a blush before shaking her thought back to reality. Okay then, let's see Chuji, said Shikamaru as he pulled out a photo of a man dressed in red with metal plates running down his arm and across his chest. Wow, I look so cool, so who do I get together with? Asked Chuji. No one, you see, in our time US when we were 17, that is 5 years ago our time, said Naruto as he and Sakura appeared on the scene. I see you decided to show them the photos, Shikamaru. Yeah, Ino convinced me, said Shikamaru. I should have known. Ino, Temari and your mother are the only woman that you listen to. Temari because you love her, Ino because she is for the lack of a better term your sister, and your mother because she would kill you, said Sakura. That last part covers all three of them, said Shikamaru. So who is next? Asked Hinata softly. A Shikamaru showed a team photo of older Kiba, Hinata and Shino just outside of the main gate. I am sorry to say this is the last photo we have of you or Shino. Both you two were killed during a sound ambush just at the beginning of the war. Kiba was just barely able to escape with his life, said Sakura softly as what really happened flashed in Naruto's mind. Flashback. Kiba, what happened? Asked Naruto as Sakura rushed to heal her friend. Sadly Shino was already gone. Hinata, she betrayed us. She and Sasuke attacked us. Shino used all his bugs to get me out of there. Hinata was even wearing a sound headband. After finishing this he pasted out from his injuries. Naruto looked up at Sakura wanting to know his condition. He is going to be fine, said Sakura as she continued to work. But we are all in trouble now, said Naruto. End flashback. Don't worry, by the time this has a chance of happening we will have already destroyed the Sound Village, said Naruto as the two genin looked down. Thank you for saving us Naruto-kun, said Hinata as Naruto glared at her. Hinata, I am married now, so drop the kun, ordered Naruto with so much hate in his voice that it stunned Hinata. Okay then, this is Neji and Tenten, said Shikamaru as he tried to get more pictures before the truth about Hinata came out. Is that us? Asked Tenten as she and Neji looked at their wedding photo. However, Hinata was still looking at Naruto. I must have done something to make Naruto-kun mad at me in the future, because he seems so cold, like he hates me. I wonder what I did, thought Hinata as Shikamaru showed a picture of Shizune and Kakashi. Meanwhile Tsunade was sitting in her office as Manao and Rin Haruno ran into her office. Can I help you too? Asked Tsunade. Yes, we need to save our daughter. She has power of the Kyuubi corrupting her, yelled Rin. Can you clear that up for me? She has the power of the Kyuubi, asked Tsunade. She calls it a bloodline limit that her husband gave her, said Manao calmly. Husband, you mean monster? Screamed Rin at her husband. Rin, I saw how he treated her when she was upset. We may not like it, but he truly loves her and she seems to love him, said Manao before explaining what happened to the Hokage. So Naruto gave Sakura his bloodline limit. It's a very rare trait for a limit to have the power to transfer to someone who isn't related to the person, but it isn't unheard of, said Tsunade as she looked down at her paperwork. Lady Hokage, are you not going to do something? Said Rin. No, there is nothing I can do if I would want to, said Tsunade. They are married and they are among if not the strongest ninjas in this village. Also they along with the Temari and Shikamaru are the only real hope to save his village. But, said Rin trying to somehow change the Hokage's mind. But nothing, I hate the fact that those kids suddenly became adults to us. We didn't get to see them grow and learn, but we can't change that fact. They came back to save us all, and if they complete their mission to destroy the two greatest threats to the world. If they do, I will make Naruto Hokage when I retire, said Tsunade as she looked at the angry woman in front of her. You have to be joking, you just got to the Hokage position, said Rin. I didn't even want this job to begin with, it was Naruto who taught me to take it. Besides, I can only stand this job for a few years, so that he and his team to finish their mission and for him and Sakura to start a family together if they want, said Tsunade. No, I will not have my grandchildren be the spawn of a demon. Rin shouted at Tsunade while slamming her fist on the desk. Tsunade's blood boiled over and her fist clashed on her desk, cracking through the wood. Don't you ever, and I mean ever, call Naruto a demon in front of me, or Kami, have mercy on your sorry excuse for a person, because I won't now. Get out of my office, ordered Tsunade as she almost saw red. After the two Harunos left, she just stood there trying to calm down. You really need to calm down, old lady, said a voice of the white-haired man. You old pervert, what in the world are you doing sitting outside my window? Asked Tsunade after she calmed down. Well, since I don't have to train the boy, I can stick around here and do some work for my next book, said Jiraiya as Tsunade glared at him. However, before I did that, I read over their reports that they brought back, and it is scary what happened to their future. Yeah, I read those reports too. Yes, at the hands of Sasuke, and you lost a leg fighting that same man, said Tsunade. I can't imagine what their eyes have seen with all their friends, family and everyone else around them. Then there's the village burning all day and night with the smoke turning day into night. I know, but I found something odd. In their reports there was a traitor that knew all our defenses, but they never say who it is," said Jiraiya. "So the file isn't complete. When was the last time you wrote a report while you're fighting in a battle?" said Tsunade. "Still, I think we should find out who this traitor is before he or she has a chance to betray us," said Jiraiya. "Okay, then I want you to find out so that we can limit that person to information except to the information we want them to know. I want you to follow them to the Sand Village and see if they say anything about who it is." "All right then." With that he disappeared. I think that is the first time he didn't say something perverted in front of me, thought Tsunade as she sat back down. Maybe after 50 years he is finally growing up. In a dark cave. "So is it true that Zetsu is S?" asked one of the 8 figures gathered together. "Yes, all we found of him was a few bits of F," said another of the voices. "The blood we found in the flash matched Zetsu," said a female voice. "So he is S then? Okay, we move on." "What do we know?" said another voice. "We don't know who or what killed him, but we will move forward our timetable," said their leader, Deidara. "Sasori, I want you two to go to the Sand Village and get the Ichibi." "Yes, sir," said 2 figures disappeared. "So are we ready?" asked Naruto as he, Sakura, Temari and Shikamaru gathered at the front gate. Everyone nodded their heads. "Okay, we are going to take care of 3 things on this mission. First, we stop at Sand and appeal the seal to Gaara's demon. Then we destroy what should be a small sound outpost now. Naruto-kun, we know all this. That outpost would be the launching point against the Sand Village," said Sakura. "I know that, Sakura-chan," said Naruto as he put his hand behind his head with one of his stupid smiles. "It's just that it's our first mission outside the village in a while." "I understand, but we aren't genin," said Sakura as they started to head out of the village, Naruto and Sakura in front, Shikamaru and Temari behind them. Meanwhile, back at the village, Ino was sitting in her family flower shop thinking about what she had seen in the photos. "I just can't imagine that I ended up with Kiba. I always thought that I would be with Sasuke-kun or maybe Shikamaru if all else fails, but a dog like Kiba. I just can't think about what I would ever see in him. I must have gone crazy in order to have ended up with him." Suddenly the door opened and a messenger walked in carrying a small book. "Ino Yamanaka?" asked the man. "Yeah, that's me," said Ino as she signed for the small package, and after she did he left. "I wonder what this is," thought Ino as she opened the box. Inside she found a note and a book. "Ino Yamanaka. Naruto-kun doesn't know that I saved this from the fires that destroyed yours and Kiba's house. I just couldn't let this burn. This was one of the things that you cared about the most. I am sorry, but I went through and put a seal over parts that are too risky for you to know. I hope you understand why I had to do this, and I know I shouldn't let you read this, but you always said you were happiest with Kiba, and I hope you two do end up together in this timeline. Sakura Namikaze." Slowly Ino looked at the book. It was a simple red book, but when she opened it a picture fell out. It showed an older version of Kiba and herself from the waist up. Ino was in front, leaning back into Kiba, who had one arm over her shoulder. Both of their other hands were holding each other. However, the back was in this picture. Ino had tilted her head back so that the two of them to kiss. Ino looked at the photo. The date across the bottom read 6 years in the future. "We do look very good together," thought Ino as she looked back at the book. She saw her own handwriting. It was her diary. The first day in the diary that was 6 years in the future. Slowly she began to read her own handwriting. 2 days Naruto, Sakura, Shikamaru and Temari stood in front to the Sand Village Council. "Why should we let you carry out this sealing?" asked one of the council members. They were a bit suspicious that they may do something with the Ichibi which could weaken the village. "If we don't, 2 members of an S-rank organization will come within 4 years, maybe sooner, since we changed history by killing a member of the group, and take the Ichibi. Then years later that same group will come with the sound and destroy this village along with everyone in it," said Temari. "All we want to do is seal half of the power of the demon into Gaara, and the other half will be sent with the Ichibi back into the summoning world. The QB gave me the seal design when we made our deal. It will work on any demon," said Naruto. "Think about it this way, you will still have its power, but it will be in the form of a summon animal," Shikamaru stated to simplify it. "Also, there is no threat to Gaara's life," said Sakura. "Okay then," said the leader of the council, "we will let you proceed. How long do you need to prepare?" Our hour and the seal itself needs another 3 hours to be put in place, said Naruto. There is a room in our hospital, I am sure you can use, said a councilwoman. Thank you, said Naruto as he stood up and bowed toward the council members before leaving. Temari, why don't you and Shikamaru go explain things to Gaara or go with Naruto to help set everything up? Meet us at the hospital in 45 minutes, said Sakura as Temari and Shikamaru nodded before they headed out. Back in Konoha, Ino was still reading her journal Form the Future. Wow, I can't believe some of the things that the future Kiba did. They were so simple but so romantic. Though Ino as she turned the page only to see it all bury. These must be sealed like Sakura said about. I wonder what they are hiding. Finally she found the next page that she could read was about Kiba's recovery from the mission that killed Hinata and Shino. Something happened on this mission besides a sound ambush, but I don't know what. We are ready, said Naruto as the Sand siblings and Shikamaru walked into the room. So how will this work? Asked Kankuro, curious since he'd never seen a ceiling of this level or any near it in his life. Simply put, we will place a seal over a seal. Then using your own demon's chakra to send it back to the demon out of summon world. However, about 1 out of 3 of its total power will merge with Gaara and become his chakra, and that link between Gaara and the demon will allow him to summon the demon like any other summon animal, said Naruto. Do you understand all this, Gaara? Yes. Okay, then all you need to do is lay down in the center of the room. I will do the rest, said Naruto as Gaara walked into the center of the room. As he lied down, Naruto walked up to him and started to run through some hand signs. Suddenly gold-colored chakra started to appear around Gaara from his seal. What is with the different color chakra? Asked Kankuro. Every different demon has a different color of chakra. Since Gaara's demon is a sand demon, it has sand color chakra. That is why Gaara has the color of chakra, said Temari as Naruto pulled out a piece of paper and placed it on Gaara. Slowly Naruto walked out of seal. It will take about 2 to 3 hours for the seal to finish transforming the demon, but after that he will be fine, said Naruto as Kankuro looked at him. That seemed so simple, said Kankuro. It is, said Naruto as a loud boom filled the air. What the hell is happened? Asked Kankuro. They came early, said Naruto as he looked out of the window toward a rising cloud of smoke. I wonder who they sent. Asked Temari. My bet the same two that they sent last time, said Sakura. Okay, you two stay here, me and Sakura will handle them. If it turns out to be Pain or Itachi, we will come back and get you, said Naruto as he transformed into a henge of his 12-year-old self. Sakura just smiled as she transformed into a henge of her younger self. So the demon's chakra is coming from the hospital? Asked Deidara as he followed his partner toward the hospital. Yes, said the puppet master Sasori as 2 young ninjas appeared in front of them. Well, looks like we have the Kyuubi brat. Leader Sama will be happy if we bring both the Kyuubi and the Ichibi, said Deidara before looking at the grinning Naruto and Sakura. Why don't we take this outside the village? Said Naruto as both he and Sakura disappeared faster than either member of the Akatsuki could see. Suddenly all 4 of them stood in the center of the desert. The sand village could be seen far off in the distance. How in the world? Asked Deidara. We will worry about that later. The little boy and girl seems to want to have a little fight with us, said the puppet master. Fight you? No, growled Naruto. Ku. Yes, growled Sakura as both of their eyes turned red with SS and red chakra began to dance around them as both. The red chakra was so hot it turned some of the sand into glass. Well, this is interesting. They both seem to have the power of the Kyuubi, said Sasori as Deidara started to make some clay spider bombs. Once they were created, he let them go. They sprang toward Naruto and Sakura, who just stood there as the bombs went off with a huge explosion. Well, that was easy. They should be out like a light now, said Deidara with a smile at how easy it was to defeat them. As the smoke started to lift, it showed 2 figures that looked like older versions of the children. They were still, however, surrounded by the red chakra. Well, that almost made me laugh, the blonde-haired man said with a smile as he looked toward the pink-haired woman. Agree, Sakura-chan. Yeah, Naruto-kun, said Sakura as the red chakra started to form the shape of a fox around her body with 2 tails. So let's mark 2 more targets off our list, said Naruto as the chakra around him formed like a fox, only he had chakra 3 tails. What in the hell is going on? Asked Sasori. If we was outside his puppet he would probably be taking steps back. Simply put, we are from the future and we are going to K both of you. Naruto stated with a smile. And as Naruto-kun's wife I got Naruto's new bloodline limit that gave me the power of a two-tailed demon, said Sakura. Now let's have some fun. Deidara and Sasori backed away from the sight of two humans, one with the power of a two-tailed demon, the other with the power of a three-tailed demon. Well, this isn't good, said Deidara as he started to form more clay bombs. Agreed, we should fall back and report back to Pain-sama, said Sasori. Who said we are letting you go? A voice from behind the Akatsuki members said, which made both Akatsuki members flinch, even if only one showed it. They turned around to see the pink-hair woman standing there. Without a moment of hesitation her fist came flying toward them. Deidara managed to duck the punch but Sasori was a little too slow. Her punch hit him and due to the heat from the red chakra it ignited his cloak on fire but it was soon put out. When they looked around they both saw that they were standing inside the eye of a twister made of fire. It seems like the QB boy is making a firestorm, said Sasori as a metal tail appeared out of the back of his cloak. He raised it up in a defensive stance as Deidara also took a defensive stance as the firestorm increased in speed and heat as Sakura jointed her husband in the firestorm. We are in trouble, Sasori, said Deidara with fear in his tone. Suddenly the two sprinting forms turned toward the two Akatsuki members, one with a Rasengan in hand, the other's fist was glowing a deeper shade of red. Upon impact there was a huge explosion, then as the smoke settled Deidara and Sasori jumped out of the smoke landing on a nearby sand dune. Only this time Sasori had lost his outer puppet form and stood looking like a normal human with red hair. Thanks for saving my life, said Deidara as he looked at the puppet master. I need you to form a way out of here. I don't think that they can fly, so start making a way out of here, said Sasori as Deidara started to make a clay bird to get both of them out of there. Meanwhile back in the sand village Shikamaru and Temari stood in the hospital watching over Gaara. Why aren't you out there helping them? Asked Kankuro. We would only get in the way, said Temari. Those two are the only reason we lasted as long as we did against the Sound and the Akatsuki. We only came back because I carry political weight in this village and the little boy has the same power back in the leaf. It also helps that we are both geniuses. How could just two people be the main reason that the leaf village held on? Asked Kankuro. Together they can call out the QB, and if you add that their bloodline limit which gives Naruto the power of a three-tailed demon, Sakura because she isn't a natural born Namikaze only has two-tailed power. If you add 2, 3 and 9 you get 14. So they have same power as if there was a 14-tailed demon, said Shikamaru as Kankuro's eyes widened. However, even if you add up the power that is nothing compared to the total tail numbers of the other 8 demons, said Temari as Kankuro looked at her. If you add the total tails you get 36, so 36 minus 14 is 22. Our village was outpowered by 22 tail demon power. Wait, isn't this village your village, not the leaf village? Said Kankuro. No, I am married to Shikamaru, so I became a leaf ninja a few years before the invasion, said Temari as Kankuro's eyes widened. It took you this long to figure it out. Well, it always took you longer than Gaara to figure things out, little brother. I just can't believe this, said Kankuro before looking at Shikamaru. If you hurt my sister then. Kankuro, I had to ask Gaara for permission to ask Temari to marry me. Believe me, nothing you can say now can come close to the threats he said he would do to me, said Shikamaru as he pulled out a cigarette and lit it, only to have Temari knock it out of his mouth before she started yelling at him about quitting and that he was in a hospital. Back outside of the sand village, Sasori was using his puppets trying to block Naruto's and Sakura's attack, and so far he was losing badly. The two Namikaze had him on his final puppet. His right arm was gone and of the 8 blades that he had inside his body 5 were already gone. Ready, yelled Deidara as his giant clay bird started to take flight. However, just as Sasori was about to get onto the bird, Sakura came up from below the ground with her fist punching through the sand before going through his jaw and out through the top of the Akatsuki head. His blood evaporating as it came into contact with the demonic chakra that wrapped around Sakura's body. A wide-eyed Deidara and his bird flew up as high and as fast as it could before flying back to one of the Akatsuki bases. Should we go after him, Naruto-kun? Asked Sakura as she discarded of Sasori's corpse. No, let the Akatsuki feel some fear for a change, said Naruto as he turned back to normal a second before Sakura did. True, while they're talking we can move to get the other demons out of their reach, said Sakura before turning toward her husband. I say we, since they pushed up the plan to get the demons, we should do the same. Agreed, we will have to stock up on a few things back home, but since we already know where the demons are we can move faster than they can, said Naruto. Besides, we need to check up on Gaara. Okay, said Sakura as she and Naruto appeared back in the sand village, fully aware that they were being watched by everyone. A few hours later Gaara awoke, then the next day Shikamaru, Temari, Naruto and Sakura were at the border of Land of Wind and Earth meet and toward the mountain where the hidden sound base was location. However, unknown to them, Kabuto was inside the base. Lord Orochimaru wants a report on statues of this base expiation, said Kabuto to the head of the base. It is going well, we already have the lookout points in place, we can see everything that happens within 20 miles of this location, and once we set up the final alert seals we will start building, said the Sound Junin in charge of the base. Good, because Lord Orochimaru will use this base as his regional foresters, said Kabuto as they walked out of the main entrance at the base of the mountain. Once they were outside, a sound ninja appeared. Sir, we have spotted 4 leaf ninjas coming our way, said the Chunin. Leaf ninjas, said Kabuto as he pushed his glasses up. Tell me more. It is a Junin team, 2 males, 2 female. One of the females has a fan on her back, which is strange because that is a sand village weapon, but she has a leaf headband. Also the other female is wearing the white jacket of a medical ninja, said the sound ninja. Okay, I want to see what you guys are capable of doing, these leaf ninjas, ordered Kabuto. Yes sir, said the sound ninja before disappearing. Back in the leaf village. Manao-kun, what are we going to do? Asked Rin as they stood in the daughter's old bedroom. Nothing, said Manao as a stunned Rin looked at him. What? It's our baby girl, we have to save her from that demon, shouted Rin as Manao rubbed his temples. Rin, I am not sure that he is a demon anymore. I saw how he held her and calmed her down, he seems to care a lot for her, said Manao. Did you see his eyes? He wanted to kill us, yelled Rin. She was shocked that her husband may be turning into a demon lover. No, he didn't want to kill us, he was trying to protect Sakura to calm her down, said Manao. That is the same thing I saw Minato always did when Kushina was upset. So what if he acts like the 4th, he is still a demon, said Rin as her husband shook his head. No, he is not. From what I saw he is too much like his father Minato, my best friend, to be anything close to a demon. Well, except on the battlefield, said Manao. I can't believe you are saying this, it's our daughter, said Rin loudly. You don't think I know that, but I ask you, if the Kyuubi hadn't come and Sakura married the 4th son, what would you say? Asked Manao. I would be proud, but the Kyuubi did come, it killed most of our family, said Rin as she glared at her husband. How is that Naruto's fault? I don't think that Minato would do anything that would cause his own son any real harm, said Manao. I don't care, he is a demon and our daughter can't be married to a demon, yelled Rin before storming out. Manao just lowered his head. Be speaking. She isn't married to a demon, she is married to the son of a hero. No, she is married to a hero. Back on the road toward the sound base. Well, looks like we have some company, whispered Naruto so that only the 4 of them could hear. Do you 2 want to take care of them? Sure. We can't let the 2 of you have all the fun, said Temari as she and Shikamaru disappeared. A few seconds later several SB fell out of the trees. Some of them had their ends snapped, the others had kunais in their back. All too easily. Any report from our attack group? Asked the base commander to one of his subordinates. No, and you never will, said a new voice as the commander looked up into 2 sets of glowing green eyes a couple of miles away. Kabuto stood in awe as he watched the snow-topped mountain that held the sound base come crashing down. What could destroy a mountain? Asked Kabuto as he felt a surge of chakra. That is the power of the Kyuubi, I must report this to Orochimaru. Well, that was sure gratifying, said Temari as she stood on top of the rubble that used to be a mountain. Now at least this base will not be used to destroy my old village, she finished, basking in the feeling of a job well done so far. So how about we head on back to village and rest up before we go Jinchuriki hunting, said Naruto as he tossed another S-sound ninja onto the pile. Sounds good to me, said Shikamaru as he tossed the final S-body onto the pile. Okay then, said Sakura as red chakra gathered in her hand. She placed it on the edge of the pile, starting it ablaze. Well, no one can say we don't clean up after ourselves. As the four of the left, the smell of burning F filled the air. That fact would have made most people sick, but they had smelled that scent so much that it didn't, both the four of them. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.